Hey guys, it's Mr. Schmidt here, and in this video, I'm going to cover the last question in set 1 of the 2019 AP Macroeconomics free response questions. But before I do that, I just wanted to throw out this to you guys out on YouTube. If you want me to go ahead and do set 2's questions and go through all those, I'd be happy to do that. I am going to do them for the micro, at least one set of them, when they come out early next week. So let me know if you want me to do set 2's questions. I'd be happy to do them if there's interest. So leave a comment down below or like this video or the other videos that I've done on question 1 and question 2 if you want to see that as well. But let's go ahead and take care of question number 3, and it is loanable funds, our good friend loanable funds. And we assume that households in econ land, great name for a country, increase their savings for retirement. And so the question is, how is that going to impact the loanable funds market? So, well, let's draw it and find out. So there's our graph, and the label down here is quantity of loans, and letter R for the real interest rate. And then we've got a downward sloping demand curve. I'm going to call that D1, and upward sloping supply curve, S1. And then we have to show the change. Well, savings is represented by the supply curve. So this is going to be supply to the right, more savings. And we have to show the change in the real interest rate from R1 to R2. And guys, again, as I've said in the other videos that I've done on these questions, if you don't show the change in the interest rate and you just write it out to the side, you don't get points. I think students get so caught up in, okay, moving the curve the right way, making sure I have the arrow and the labels on the axes, you forget to do the showing part, right? That's what that verb means, show. So you had to show it on the graph, the decrease in the real interest rate. So that is letter A. Letter B says, based solely on the real interest rate change identified in Part A, what will happen to econ land's purchases of foreign assets, and explain. So we need to think about here, if we go back to this graph just for a second, we need to think about the fact that the interest rate in econ land has decreased. Which means if I'm trying to find a foreign asset, an asset period to invest in, I need to go look elsewhere. Because the interest I'm going to get from investing in something in this country, econ land, I'm not going to get as much in return. So I'm going to want to invest somewhere else. And so that's actually going, in B, it's going to increase purchases of those assets, those foreign financial assets. And the reason why is because there's an increase in the rate of return, parentheses, higher interest, I guess we could say relatively higher interest, on foreign assets. So again, we're assuming that if everything else is status quo, ceteris paribus, as we say in econ, if there's a lower interest rate in econ land, that's going to be lower compared to the interest rates elsewhere. And so I want to go and invest where the interest rate is as high as possible so I can get the greatest rate of return. And so that is why I'm going to purchase more foreign assets if I was in econ land. So that's B. C says, consider the foreign exchange market for econ land's currency. Unfortunately, they don't make you draw it, which is nice. Although drawing it out to the side may not have been a bad idea when thinking about these two questions. So for C1, it says based on your answer in Part B. So again, if you screwed up Part B and you said decrease, then as long as you answer C1 and C2, basically the opposite of what I just say, then you're going to get those points, which is nice. So it says based on your answer to Part B, what will happen to the international value of econ land's currency? And the answer here is that it's going to depreciate. And you may be wondering, well, why is that? Well, the answer here goes back to B. If I want more of those foreign assets, I have to play by their rules. I have to go get their currency. Well, in order to demand someone else's currency, I have to supply my own. So it's an increase in supply of my own currency, and you could draw the market for Econland's currency to see this. Supply to the right is going to depreciate the value of the currency. It's also going to be demand left, by the way, because foreigners are going to demand less of Econland's currency. But luckily, you didn't have to explain that. So, I mean, you could have said, you had a 1 in 3 shot there, right? Depreciate, appreciate, or no change. So again, hopefully you wrote something down, and even if you didn't know why it was depreciate, heck, if you wrote depreciate, you got that point. So good for you. And same thing on C2. Again, this is multiple choice, and there's no explanation required. You just got to pick buy or sell here. Based on your answer to part C1, would Econland's central bank buy or sell its currency in the foreign exchange market to offset the change in the value of its currency? And the answer here is it's going to buy. So why is that? Well, think about this. We want the currency to appreciate, right? Because it depreciated in the previous part of this question, C1. So how do you get the currency to appreciate? Well, what you want to do is you want to restrict the supply. You want to restrict the supply of the currency and suck it out so the currency is scarcer, which means it becomes more valuable, which means it appreciates. So you're trying to restrict the supply. Think about like a vacuum cleaner sucking up that currency so no one else can get it. If there's less currency available for people, then it's going to be worth more. So you're going to buy the currency to decrease the supply and raise the value of the currency. So, and I'm going to go ahead and there we go. That, for those of you that maybe that bothered me, that parenthesis there. But that is all for this question, question 3 of set 1 of the 2019 AP Macroeconomics free response questions. Until next time, have a great day.